My name's Ben, and I heard about the movement in Iowa City, and that's where I started. But as far as the problems of the world, I found those out on my own. So I've been waiting for this movement to start, so I had someone that had my back as we were fighting the same enemy.
Okay. And can you kind of tell me a little bit about what you see some of the issues or the problems? I mean,
Yeah, I guess where it started with me actually was I was in the Marine Corps. I served in the Marine Corps, and then that opened my eyes up to the type of government we really have. Like how in my eyes, we weren't at war with any of those countries. Especially Afghanistan is when I was more in a combatant role, and the people that we were running into, they weren't terrorists. They weren't enemies. They were just people protecting their homeland because we invaded it. We stepped into that country and we were killing women and children and that's it was just everyday practice for the military and then that's when I started to question everything about our government and why they would do these things. And then I started to see all the connections with they're all interconnected with all these big banks, big corporations, all this money that everything's just purely for money, and they don't care about anything. They don't care about human life. They don't care about the planet's life. They just care about more money, more power.
and so tell me a little bit about what, you know, the path that this Occupy business has led you on. I mean, where you got connected with it and what.
Well, it's so far it's been a really great path because it's allowed me to find people with similar views as mine. Instead of me just sitting at home bitching to my friends about how shitty the world is, I have other people that not only see how shit it is, but are willing to stand up and do something about it. And so I've been making a lot of connections with people and just bouncing ideas around, sharing ideas and thoughts about what we can do to fix it. And I feel like that's helping shape the movement into what it needs to be, not what it needs to look like in the public eye.
Okay. And you said you kind of got connected with a group in Iowa City.
Yeah, I was with Occupy Iowa City initially because I was living there at the time, and so I wasn't there for the first few planning days before the actual occupation, but from the first day of the occupation, I've been there, and except for a few days here and there where I just had personal stuff I had to take care of, but
Sure.
otherwise, as much as I can, I like to be heavily involved.
So you've been now here in Des Moines, and
Yeah, I've been here for the Occupy the Caucasus, of course, and taking part of that and trying to get our message across to these people that say they represent us and pretend like they have our best interests at heart, and they really don't.
have you been arrested or have you risked arrest or?
I haven't yet. I mean, I will. It's just a matter of. I mean, to me, I don't want to get arrested over these political candidates because they're just puppets in my eyes. Like, it doesn't. To me, none of them. They're all the same. I mean, it doesn't matter which one gets elected. They're still bought in. They're still. So I'm not willing to get arrested for. Because if I get arrested to show how bad this one candidate is, it doesn't matter because another one's there to be just as bad, and yeah.
You want it to be something more significant than a political figure.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm willing to do civil disobedience because there's plenty of laws that I think are just absolutely meant to kind of keep things like this movement from really making any real progression.
Okay.
And so those I will oppose, absolutely. And I'll risk going to jail if that's what it comes down to. I mean, I don't want to go to jail, but
Right.
I also don't want to be trampled on by corporate money. It's hard to give one specific.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely since this National Defense Act just got passed just 2-3 days ago it was.
Yeah.
That's probably pretty high up there because that's pretty much declaring war on the American people, saying that anyone that opposes the state is a terrorist and can be detained indefinitely with all their rights stripped from them. And being someone that does oppose the state, it kind of is a big threat to me personally, the movement, and anyone that wants to be involved. So I think that's a pretty big issue for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then as well as all the other corporate personhood, of course.
Sure.
And, I mean, there's a
A long
huge-
list.
Yeah, a laundry list. I mean, I could go on for hours.
tell me what you think about the approach that Occupy's used here, confronting candidates and their offices in the way that they have. What kind of effect? I mean, how do you think that's a positive? I mean, how do you think that affects things in a positive way? Or
well, I think it's showing not only the candidates but just everyday Americans that we're just trying to get our voices heard, that we don't feel like we're being represented by these people because of their corporate interests. And so we just want them to understand that that's a problem and we're not going to stand for it. And when we go to these places and they won't even allow us to come in and talk to them, or they won't come out and talk to us, and people end up getting arrested because they just want to have their voices heard. They don't want to leave until someone listens to what their complaints are. And by them not allowing to do it, I think it's showing a lot of Americans that, your freedom of speech only goes so far until it starts to upset those in power. And then that's where they cut it off. Everyone's sick of not having their voices heard, and just it seems like there's all these decisions that are made that just trample our rights and our basic living rights. I mean, the poisons they put into the water and the air, and we have no say over it, and so people are very frustrated that we don't have people that are stopping it. I mean, that's what our government is meant for, to stop these big businesses from harming the citizens, harming human beings, not just in this country but worldwide.
To help people and not just to benefit the small percentage, 1% of people that are making a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.